Tommy, this is Trevor.
Hi, Trevor. How are you?
Good, Tommy. How are you?
Doing really well. You having a good day?
Yeah, yeah, having a really good one.
How are we doing? Come over this way.
We're just gonna do this real quick. I know you want to get work done. We appreciate this. I've been busting his chops every day. Sorry. All right, I'm a New Yorker. I grew up 20 minutes from Yankee Stadium, so you know those people, right?
Well, for sure.
Hey, man, I just want to say before we start, I really appreciate how do you having? I'm a baseball fanatic, like it's as a little kid to now. And how do you have a 1.35 ERA?
Shit, I just
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
You got
crazy.
your guy. You have Hoyt and Jim Palmer. Do you know this?
Yeah,
1975,
yeah.
Cy Young, like legitimately whacked, like in a good way. Like it's amazing. What do you
hmm
think about that?
Here's Tommy. I don't think I don't think most people appreciate this. Nobody in history has come off of being injured the a half of the season and then come out and perform like this.
Yeah, how did you get a 1.35 ERA? I'm trying to figure out. Like, especially with the clock. With the clock, it seems to me to be harder.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to stay healthy and like my velocity's back, and just being able to command all my pitches. I think in years past, like I was a two-dimensional guy, and then I would get hurt. Um, and just being able to, trust my body finally with all the work that Ken has done. So it's a
That's awesome.
combination of things for sure.
And then, like going into the season, what were you injured going in, or it happened like in spring training?
Yeah, I just had a freak injury. I dislocated my patella.
Oh.
Yeah, and for some reason I didn't call Ken right away. I
Oh,
don't know
I,
what
I
happened
I'm
to
so
him.
sorry. Like I've gotten work done by Ken. Trust me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a great story about that one day. Hopefully he could tell you later. So how often have you been working with Ken this season? How did that specifically change your game? Obviously, you're a Major League Baseball player. You drafted, I believe, 13th by the Marlins, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
and you've had a fantastic career. But it's like right now you're at another, like in my opinion, you're an ace, right?
Yeah.
And unbelievable pitcher. And obviously your arm is there, your body's there, your mindset's there. How did Ken help in positioning your body, I would say?
I just got tired of, just the same cycle of treating a symptom and not the cause. I think that's probably the biggest thing that Ken has taught me is my back would flare up and they would treat a symptom of it and it would come back. And I just got tired of it. And we started working together the off season of 23 going into 24. And it was the best I felt since 21 or even before that, probably going into the minor leagues that I felt that good.
That's awesome.
And I was staying on the field and I just made it a decision that I'm going to see this guy once a month. Hoping the schedules aligned up because I know he's a busy guy, and we just took off from there. And ever since then, since 24, not counting spring training and that freak injury, I haven't missed a start.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah.
And on both of you. Ken, what was the areas that I don't know if you want to put it all out there, but what were some things that you had to work on, Trevor?
Well, Trevor, look, just like a lot of big guys, tall guys that grew fast when they were young, went through a lot of growth spurts and growing pains and all that kind of stuff. And most of those people start off pretty tight because they never got over the restrictions that they had from growing so fast because their long bones are growing faster than muscle, and so it's pulling at the attachments and they think it's normal. Well, that's normal if you go through that, but you never get the tissue lengthened. And so we basically had to work on Trevor from his feet to his neck. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of changed as the course of the years gone on. A lot of it was low back and legs and stuff. And once that got better, then it was like, wow, my arm's really tight. And then, we spent a lot of time on forearm and everything else because, without any stickum, they got to grip that ball like crazy. And so it's really tight. And typically by the end of the game, what's happened is their forearm's gotten so tight, their hand isn't getting any blood supply, so they lose grip and then they lose control of the ball. Well, if you keep all that stuff open, then they can keep the grip on the ball and have control of it rather than losing it. And that's, for a lot of pitchers, that's one of the bigger issues now. And especially with them checking, making sure there's nothing on their hands, they're having to really grip hard to make sure they have control of the ball so they can get it to do what they want it to do.
That's really interesting. Did when the grip changed the game for you? Like, did it change like how you had to, the way you'd pitch or whatever?
Yeah, we actually had to like really hone in when Ken comes because he would work on my forearm and my hand so well is that we used to do it either the day before or the day of my start. And I would be so loose and feel like so good that I would lose control of the ball at some point, and I wasn't pinpointing because I was so used to pitching tight.
Got it.
It opened up so well that I wasn't myself, but I was also myself. So we had to do it like the day after to open all this up and give myself like 2-3 days to readjust and this was the first time it happened. We've got it dialed in pretty well now.
Yeah, 'cause you're probably healed, right? After he works on you, you take like 2 or 3 days to heal.
So I'd never felt that being that loose and that open before.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
So it's the same thing as hitters go through when they get work on. I tell them they have to, and I tell them, but they don't get it until after halfway through the first game or maybe the second game. They have to wait on the ball because their hips are going to get through the strike zone way quicker than it used to, and so they're just way ahead. It looks like they're rushing, and
Got it.
it's just because they're so loose.
That's so true. So what are I get 2 more questions because I know you want to get work done. And you, by the way, I'm a Yankee fan growing up. I watched the game yesterday and Ken was on the flight and I was like, oh my God, yeah, you pitched fantastic. So like that, like, I feel like every team you face this year, I looked at a lot of your starts, like you've been consistent hitting your spots and your velocity has been unbelievable. So do you feel like getting that loosened up has given you any velocity or movement on the ball, or you're just so loose in your body, you're able to pinpoint it? It's easier for you because everything's dialed in and you're functioning like you're supposed to.
Yeah, I'm just so loose that I'm able to trust my body and not worry about, if I throw this pitch, am I going to be in pain? And trust that the velocity is going to be there. Ken Harper really talked about this a lot. Like, once your body trusts you, like, you're off to the races. And I didn't quite understand what he was talking about, but the more that we worked together and the more that my body was opening up, because it took, when he first started working on like my low back, my psoas, it took 2 hours just to open up my hips and my back. And now it takes 30 minutes. So that's when I was like, oh, okay, well, my body's finally trusting me. And now I can take that to the mound where I trust that my body's in a good position to maintain those positions without pain. And that equals velocity throughout the game.
That's awesome.
And probably,
all right, Ken, I have one.
it's probably being able to let you just focus on what you're doing rather than worrying about the pain part.
Yep.
Because then you're not holding back. Last question. Would you recommend people to Ken, like other people? Like, why would you recommend them?
It's the only thing that actually works. And it lasts. I think the biggest thing is it's painful, but it's not as painful as dealing with the pain that I was in all the time. Like, he relieves the pain, and probably the biggest thing is he gives you tools to help yourself, like when he's not here. Like, he gives me those tools. Like, he told me to like grab a broomstick and shove it into my psoas and walk around to release it. So he gives you tips because I know like he can't be here
Sure.
every day.
And
So-
it's stretching. He asked me at one point a good kind of stretching thing to do in between starts and before and after practices and games and stuff like that. And also we're also talking. I know that when I first met Trevor, there was tons of pizza and cookies and donuts around the place. And I was like, dude, you can't eat that stuff.
Yeah.
And so we checked his blood type, and so he's eating more closely related to his blood type now. He's sleeping on his back. He's not sleeping on his shoulders.
That's the hardest thing.
All of those things are just critical parts of it. And it's like it's and it mentioned it's Mensch method. If anybody is interested, it's Mensch method bodywork.com is the website, and all of our social media platforms are on there. But all the other therapists that we train out for our clinics, we have 4 in the Austin area. They all do the same thing. I've trained all of them. They're all excellent. They're all great therapists, and so it's the method works, and I can't take credit for it. I prayed about wisdom, knowledge, and discernment to figure out a better, faster way to help people, and this method came from that. So I don't take much credit for it at all. That's all God's stuff. But Trevor, and just to his credit, what Trevor's doing right now at a 1.35 ERA is basically starting to see to grow into his potential, because virtually every single I will say this unequivocally, every single professional baseball player is hurt. Every single football player is hurt. Every soccer player is hurt. They're all hurt someplace. They all have restriction. They have pain. They have tightness, and most of them are not even sniffing their potential. And what Trevor's doing right now seems unbelievable, but I was expecting this because I've seen the way that he throws, even when he's not feeling great. And then I knew that if he just got his body opened up and lengthened where it should be, the sky's the limit. And this is I expect this type of thing. And but I think anybody watching this, if you're watching Trevor Rogers, watch out, because I wouldn't want to face him. I couldn't face any major league pitcher, but let alone this guy. But it's not unexpected, honestly. Once you can give people their potential, which is, one of the things that I hate more than anything else is unmet potential, and virtually everybody on every roster has unmet potential because they're way too tight and constricted, and everybody's focus is speed and strength. But the problem is they forget about flexibility. You can't get flexible. You can't get flexible. You're not going to get strong or fast. You're going to get hurt, because all that tightness is pre-injury. And I see it every year. I see the tickers going across the screen during any sporting event. All these people that are out of the game with a simple calf strain that we could fix in a session or two, and have them back on the field within a week. I mean, that kind of stuff is easy. It's getting people to buy in, and this is a smart man, because he recognized what he was missing, and he was willing to do the work. And it's not just me coming out or somebody coming out and taking care of him. He's done all the other work. He's changed his sleep posture. He's changed his diet. He's changed his hydration habits. He's changed the way he warms up and cools down and does all of his work. And it's disciplined, smart, driven people that get the full benefit from this, because it's 99.9% this guy. Because without his natural ability and his drive to become the best that he can be, he wouldn't be doing all the things that he's doing. So it's all the credit goes to him.
Awesome.